For so long I was searching myself, trying to find the thing that makes me me. Something that I do that sets me apart. And without it I just can't be free. Then I ask myself, what is it I do that I'd do for nothing if I had to? And the people say that I do so well that they wanna pay right now. Oh, everybody has a gift, yeah. We all have something that everyone needs. Everybody has a gift, y'all. Something valuable, yeah, that makes us unique. I have heard some people say they're just plain and not gifted in the sports or in art. But everybody's gift is not the same. You have got to look inside your heart. Have you heard about the talents God gave and the one who had them taken away? You don't want the same to happen to you. Better let your light shine now. Oh, everybody has a gift, yeah. We all have something that everyone needs. Everybody has a gift, y'all. Something valuable, yeah, that makes us unique. Oh, that makes us unique, yeah. Something valuable, yeah, that makes us unique. Everybody has a gift, yeah. Everybody, whoa. Everybody has a song to sing when we come into this life. But how many people leave the song that they bring buried beneath the disguise? We all have a responsibility to discover deep inside what it is we bring that the world needs before it withers and it dies. Oh, everybody has a gift, yeah. We all have something that everyone needs. Everybody has a gift, y'all. Something valuable, yeah, that makes us unique. Oh, that makes us unique. Something valuable, yeah, that makes us unique. Whole world would be better if we all realized our human worth. Whole world is much lesser to the extent that you don't come forth. Whole world would be better if we all realized our human worth. Whole world is much lesser to the extent that you don't come forth. Everybody, 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 everybody.
You can't sit down and eat. That's a break.
For Rod, Elijah, and Werner Lupin, they make up the mighty few. A new perspective on the unseen, changing our whole point of view. We are descendants of great kings and queens. We know now what we have to do. Authenticated and fully redeemed, a people were made all brand new. follow the prophet and follow the deen. Light of the truth shining through. Aligned with justice and other writing, with insights from the mighty few. Destiny came in 3 stages. History made in 3 phases. A lesson was learned from 3 sages. A blueprint for life on 3 pages. All the way up from slavery, freedom, justice, and equality. Beginning a new society, spending all the best of humanity. We are descendants of great kings and queens. We know now what we have to do. Authenticated and fully redeemed, the people were made all brand new. Yeah, destiny came in 3 stages. History made in 3 phases. A lesson was learned from 3 sages. A blueprint for life on 3 pages. Yeah, destiny came.
So I'm going to start with a verse from the Quran. This is chapter 49, verse 13. And I'm just going to give you a rough translation. O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female, and have made you peoples and tribes, that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and acquainted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O mankind. He's not talking about all who believe. He's saying, O mankind, all Jews, Christians, Muslims, atheists, O mankind, get to know one another. And if you get to know one another, you have to do certain things. You have to work together. You have to communicate, right? You got to struggle together in order to know one another. So at least at minimum, just talk to one another, right? So Allah's telling us this. And we're, we had our own experiences here in San Francisco. We're a little far from that. But this is a reminder for all of us to look back to the Quran, the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ, to remind us that we too have to collaborate and communicate with one another. And this reminded me, so like I said, it's not specific to Muslims, Jews, Christians, people of other faiths. And it reminded me of something that happened a few years ago. You all know when that one brother tried to put that anti-circumcision vote on the ballot? Remember that? Okay. So we got a call from Sister Amina Jadali. And he said, hey, this is going to be put on the ballot if we don't do something about it. So some representatives from the JCC, the Jewish Community Center, and about 3 of us, the Muslims, we got together and we submitted the papers. Now, if we had reflected on this ayah, there would have been thousands of Jews, thousands of Muslims, thousands of Christians at the doorsteps of City Hall to submit these papers. But yeah, there's only a few Muslims and a few reps from JCC. So this is a reminder again for us, let's get to know one another. Just some results. We have any Jewish representatives in the House? Any Catholic, Christian representatives in the House? The Jewish community, you wouldn't have your schools, you wouldn't have your facilities for your elderly, you wouldn't have these services that you provide right now unless you collaborated and worked together, got to know one another. The Catholic community, if the churches under the archdiocese did not collaborate, did not work with one another, you wouldn't have your schools, right? You wouldn't have your churches, or you wouldn't have this hundreds of $6 billion gyms that they built for schools. You wouldn't have those unless you worked together, unless you collaborated with one another. So, I remind myself, and this great community that has become very dear to me, and with the Imam that I talk about, and he tries to promote, he takes steps forward towards bringing the community together, that we need to get to know one another. And if you noticed, what I said for the Catholic Church and what I said for the Jewish community, there's some common themes here. And I want you to go back to your community, and I want you to check your vision statement. Okay, your mission. And I talked about schools, I talked about, community centers. Make sure in there, and I'm an educator. I'm not by default, I'm an electrical engineer, but life took me towards education. I love kids.
Like I said, the vision comes when I forget.
Vision, you said vision. Make sure in your vision statement somewhere you have that we want to raise kids that are proud of who they are, and they can go outside and say, hey, yeah, I'm Muslim, hey, yeah, I'm Jewish, hey, yeah, I'm Catholic or Christian, I'm proud of it. Make sure in your vision statement that there's something about good character, that we instill good character in our kids, and that we instill leadership qualities and students that are going to give back to society and be leading contributors to society. Make sure that's in the vision statement. If it's not there, please make sure it's there. And that's going to benefit all communities, not only Jewish or Christian or Muslim, but all communities in San Francisco and at large. And you got to remember, San Francisco, there's ordinances in this city and laws that are passed in this city that affect the whole nation. So we have a great responsibility to not only our communities here, but also the whole nation. Who was born and raised in San Francisco? Raise your hand. How many Go Giants fans do we have here? I was born and raised in the city, and if you're born and raised in the city, you know you gotta fight to go to school and fight to come home on the bus, right? Physically fight. So I grew up in the city, so I'm talking from a person who grew up in the city, my perspective, and I look at the different pockets of different communities in the city. And it's human nature to identify with someone who eats like you, who looks like you, who prays like you, who talks like you, who has the same language. And especially for new immigrants who come here and when you need help, you go to that community that you feel a part of. And that's why you have different churches, you have different mosques, you have different non-religious organizations that have those small pockets of people. And Allah said, I created peoples and tribes. Consider those as peoples and tribes. We get so involved in our day-to-day affairs, paying the bills, running our organizations, running the school, that we forget to get out of the box and talk to one another. Is that right or no? I'm talking about myself. So, and we do this unconsciously. My roommates in college, they didn't know they were, My roommates in college, they didn't know there were Muslims that were not representative of their ethnicity until they got to college. And this is like in the 20s, right? So I have 1 minute. I did have a few stories, but I'm going to hold it up right here. I'm going to stop with one important thing. My last minute. When I realized this, when I had my own kids, and as I got to become older, I have one 7-year-old, one 3-year-old, I got worried. I said, we need to collaborate, we need to work with one another. And nobody's really doing it. I know we're taking steps forward, and I know we're making progress, but we got a lot to do. So I went to our youth group. I said, youth group, we got an issue. I'm worried about who's going to provide social services for my kids and my grandkids, who's going to teach my kids and my grandkids. Let's sit down. And we sat down at a table like this, and there was 15 of youth at that time. And I said, this table right here is probably the most important table in the city of San Francisco right now. I said, one day when you guys graduate, you guys go to college, and you guys get a job, you're going to come back with money in your pocket and skills that you require. And you're going to be part of those different communities in San Francisco. I want you to remember, when you come back, you sit back at this table and you bring those communities together, you collaborate, and you build a community, one big community. Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum. I just want to please remind you to be respectful and when a speaker is presenting, to listen quietly. Thank you.
So next we're going to bring up Tessa Kaleo from the SFF Faith Program, San Francisco Foundation. And also, as those who come up to speak, we're going to have you have about 3 to 4 minutes. We will give you a little time cue when your time is up So thank you again. Please welcome Sister Tessa.
Good evening. Good evening. I just want to take a moment to give thanks to God, to give thanks to all of you for opening up your community and your hearts, welcoming myself from the San Francisco Foundation, from the Faiths program, into your gathering and into the amazing work of the community and all the transformation that you have been a part of over the many years. I particularly feel blessed to be here, and I feel humbled to be here tonight. As a non-Muslim, but as a learner, and as a woman of God who cares deeply about finding across those bridges what we can do together to address the issues in our communities, our shared issues, the lack of jobs, the lack of health care, the lack of opportunity, and yet all the wealth and all of the goodwill that exists. So I come tonight as a friend and an admirer of the center, of the Muslim Community Center, and of Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin, and at his invitation. My name is Tessa. I was born and raised in Berkeley, California, so I'm a native person, and I come here. I work at the San Francisco Foundation doing amazing work across faiths to try to address the issues that are happening in our most distressed neighborhoods throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. And so tonight, I have a title. It's called Faiths Program and the Civic Engagement Officer. And I don't know what that means. I came to the foundation because I knew that there was terrific work being done with Muslims and Jews and Christians and Unitarians and Sikhs and others to try to transform our communities and address the issues that ail our communities. And I heard about this thing called the Foundation Alliance with Interfaith Communities to Heal Society, a program by a secular foundation, and Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin is one of the early leaders of that effort. And so I was drawn in to come for a couple of months and found that I fell in love with a community of faith that was committed to doing justice and had a higher purpose of addressing poverty, addressing racism, addressing violence in our communities, and that we are communities that are not going anywhere, whatever our race, our class, our denomination. And it's that stepping up and into the difficult and the most challenging of times that I've witnessed the leadership of this center, and I want to tonight make special mention and gratitude of Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin. Because it's not just the Foundation Alliance that I'm talking about where there's hundreds of congregations and we bring people together to address those issues and do small grants so that there can be daycare programs and there can be feeding programs and there can be community organizing. But it's the San Francisco Organizing Project and it's the San Francisco Interfaith Council. And I don't know if you all recognize that this is a man who has stepped up and has been constant and been present for 20 years, the time that I've been engaged, and has really brought the kind of leadership that makes me proud to be a partner in the work. And I give you deep, deep gratitude and appreciation from the foundation, from all of your colleagues, all of the clergy, all of the leaders. And I also want to just note two things that he did personally that touched and moved me. This fall, Proposition 47 was passed. And I just think we need to take a moment and we need to thank God and thank each other and thank the Imam, because I was at that session and when we were talking about taking this to the ballot, that it was possible that we could actually win, that we could actually reduce sentencing so that people with low-level crime would no longer be felons, that we could expunge those charges of our young people, and that folks could come back out and lead those productive lives that they should have been able to lead in the first place. And so it is with great gratitude that I hold up the appreciation for your leadership. And also to say that you have pushed us and challenged us to know more, to understand that Islam is such a religion of peace. And so much you taught so many of us to understand and to become Qadir Al-Amin, when we had an opportunity to do a deep dive and create a partnership program and bring $250,000 of resources into the area to support building alliances and knowledge and relationship between Muslims and non-Muslims to tackle the hardest issues of our day, to address poverty and violence in our communities and joblessness and housing. Because of your leadership with us over the years, we said yes. Absolutely. Those are resources that need to come into the community, and the Muslim civic engagement and leadership matters, and it's calling the rest of us to addressing those issues as well. So thank you and everything.
Thank you, Sister Tessa, for your remarks. One of the things that Sister Tessa mentioned as she was speaking is Proposition 47. The San Francisco Muslim Community Center for the last, it's been almost 4 years since Stephen Jamal started working with us with SFOP, which is now merged with another organization. And we've been doing a lot of civic engagement work. We helped pass Proposition 30, which was to bring, it was those who make over $250,000 to be taxed, and that money goes to schools and to public programs. And so a lot of the community members, we've been successfully working at helping changing policy, which is affecting everyone in the state of California. So alhamdulillah, we're grateful that we have supporters like Sister Tessa who can highlight those successful stories.
I'd now like to bring up our next person to give remarks, Archbishop Alfonso King with St. John Coltrane Church.
Assalamu alaikum. Say again, all praise be to God, to whom all praise is due. Yes, it is true. Seek and ye shall find. Only through him can we know his wondrous bestowals. Those are the beginning words of St. John Coltrane's testimony on the album Love Supreme. He goes on to say, yes, it is true. Seek and ye shall find. Only through him can we know the most wondrous bestowals. And he says also that in 1957 he had a spiritual awakening that was to lead to a richer, fuller, more productive life. And at that time, in gratitude, he asked for the means and the privilege to make others happy through music. And he said further that he felt that it had been granted through his grace. All praise to God. I share that with you because I'm listening in a call for a unity of religious ideals, and an opportunity to say what moves me the most as I look upon this gathering tonight. And as I thank God for Brother Abu, the Imam, who has been a personal friend and a friend to the community of San Francisco, and even as we learned from the words of John Coltrane, for us, the whole globe is community. And I think that you'll see that the work of the San Francisco community hasn't been limited to San Francisco, but this Muslim community has been represented around the world. At least I've been misinformed. Somebody make some noise. What moves me when I look at this community, a lot of people, some brother was asking about Christians and Jews. St. John Coltrane was asked that question, was he a Christian? And he said, well, yes, my early teachers of the Christian faith, my mother and father were Christians. He said, but it's always been a thing with me as to whether or not a man knows the truth. And that the truth is above labels. And every man has to find that for himself. Is that true? That's true. So we don't do any theological gangbanging old religious set trip. You know, I heard Mandela say when they was asking him about democracy and capitalism, he said, we don't get into whether or not, you know, the cat is black or whether it's white. We just want to know, can it catch mice? And we did the same thing. I think it was a communist saying, they said, you know, religion is the opiate of the people. And I think you used to say that a lot. I said, well, let's get high, brother. Because you can't get no higher than the Spirit of God, which is the opiate of the people. Brother, I like him because he's many things for many people, but he's consistent in who he is in his walk with God Allah. That's right. And when we had fights in the city, there's two people I really look for. Of course, Minister Christopher Muhammad, and then I look for this man here. You know, somebody that you know ain't gonna cow and bow, ain't gonna scratch with his pitch, and ain't dancing no tunes that they don't call. Does that make sense? All right. So, and I know I don't know as much about some of the social community, community things that he's done, but I know they're unlimited. And I'm eternally grateful for that. Again, getting back to what really moves me, when you talk about the truth, the man that brought the truth to me as a young man is the man that I see the root of this community being, and that's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, and I said, my God, the Lamb brought all of this together. You know, the root of it is with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Lamb of God, the man that took the darkness off of our eyes. So I'm just glad to see us coming together as family. And before I take my seat, I just want to say to you that, you know, beloved, this is what we need to do every day. Is give honor where honor is due. Our leaders work hard. They make many sacrifices. You couldn't pay Brother Abu to tell you the kind of sacrifices he's had to make to keep this community together, to draw it together, to keep it together, and the kind of fights that go on. I like the brother because anytime he and I talk, it's a lift to my spirit that I might continue to be of some use to God Almighty and to the great African Orthodox Church, the jurisdiction of the West, which some people call it the Garvey Church, because my founding patriarch is the chaplain general for the UNIA. Black folks, we got a big job to do. We got to stop set tripping. Hello? Yeah. I was at a meeting last night about Black Lives Matter, migration. And people wanted to know what can we do. Well, we need to check the police. Well, I was working on that too, you know. But I thought that the really rooted principle of coming together is called love, even a love supreme. So I challenge that audience, and I would also share with you. You know, it's like charity, which is another word for love, begins at home. And there was a lot of people from European persuasion that was there. They were saying that you better have more than one black friend to be serious about not being a racist. And I said, well, before you come over here and be my friend, I want you to look within your own heart. Did you open the door of your heart, and is the God of truth reigning and sitting on the throne in your heart? So let us work on our individual religion and understand and spiritual practice with fear and trembling. Let us pick up the criticism, the weapon of criticism, and criticize ourselves with the love that God has given us, and find out how are you treating yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, that's the problem. It's a need for self-love. Again, we're getting back to the Lamb. It's about learning how to love self, love the people that you live with. You know them folks that you live with that you can't stand? Get right with them, and then come over and see can we come together as a full community. So again, we thank you so much, Brother Abu, for inviting me, and that's what I call it. I don't want to get caught up on Arabic here. Because I ain't here faking and pretending. I love this brother, and I thank God for raising him up in this community so that he can be strength. Look what the great God is doing. God be praised and let his enemies be scattered. Pray my strength in the Lord God for you. God bless you.
My wife just told me to say something about love. I love you. When Imam Abu asked me to MC with my wife, I couldn't say no because he's been so instrumental in my life. He's the one that married me and Aida. He's the one that asked me to get my first football when we had left the Macedonia. We were in the Ella Hutch Center in Fillmore. And he's taught me so much about life and about Islam, and I'm eternally grateful. So we now Next speaker we'll have is Mr. Christopher Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. Please give him a warm round of applause.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness Muhammad is his messenger. We were supposed to be in Chicago this weekend for our Savior's Day convention, but I talked to Brother Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin a couple of months ago. He was sharing with me that he wanted to invite us to be a part of this celebration, and I told him, unless I'm ordered to be in Chicago, I will be here, God willing, with my brother. Why was that important to me personally? You know, to be a great leader, you must be a great follower. Brother Imam has been a great follower of Imam Muhammad. He carried his spirit from the time I came to this city, which was in 1990, 25 years ago. And he welcomed me as a brother. And we settled on the best part of brotherhood. He was always someone that I could call, and I tried to be someone that he could call. And no matter what the enemy of our communities tried to do, I could always call my brother, and he could always call me. And our communities, I see so many of you that I haven't seen in a few years, but it was because of my relationship with Brother Imam that our communities worked together in the prison system. And many of the Muslim chaplains that are here tonight, they opened the doors of the prisons so that we could show our brothers behind bars what unity looked like on the outside to help them resolve their differences in San Quentin, in Soledad, in all of the prisons that we visited in unity. But that could never have happened if Brother Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin was not a true follower of Imam Abu Qadir. I tried he taught us, publicly and privately, that he loves Brother Imam Abu. So if you don't love him and the community that comes from him, then you're not with me and following my spirit. Because they talked, they met, they broke bread together. So those of us who carry the word and the example in the cities that we are responsible for, we have an obligation and a duty, and that's to reflect the best of what those in leadership have to offer, and reflect that. This man not only deals with those who are trying to transition their lives, but he has lived that. He's experienced that. And it was the Muslim chaplains, one of the prisons we visited. My own blood brother was in that prison, doing life. And one of the Muslim chaplains found a way to allow me to go into that prison to speak to the general body of brothers, but then privately go and visit my little brother who happened to be in solitary confinement. I'm forever indebted to my Muslim chaplain family who used their position not just to hold a job, but to use their position to transform lives. And I'm happy to say that my brother, after 23 years, was released and lives with me at home where he belongs. So thank you, Chaplain, for your support, your brotherhood, your sisterhood. We feel it in the Nation of Islam, and I'm so happy the Archbishop, my Christian Muslim brother, brought us all back to the root. Thank you, Archbishop. Thank you, Brother Imam Shuaib. The family is good to be amongst the family. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Minister Christopher, for those moving remarks. Now we're going to have Tashawn Jones come and speak. Tashawn is like a sister to Jamal and I. We met several years ago when Jamal left the San Francisco Organizing Project, and it's just been a pleasure to watch Tashawn grow. She's been a really massive supporter of our community, and she's helped us with organizing, coming together with other faith groups and faith communities to do real work, and it's just a privilege and an honor to welcome her. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, I'm a little nervous. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all look beautiful. Again, my name is Tashawn. I'm really happy to be here and could not miss this celebration, this moment, to really give honor to the work that's been done by Imam Al-Amin here in the community. I moved here a little over 2 years ago from a really small town in North Carolina. I'm a country girl. And one thing I learned is that being welcomed into this community as a part of family, that you all have wrapped your arms around me. Imam Al-Amin has been a great teacher, and I've learned so much from him, and being able to work with him alongside a lot of members of SFMCC, as well as some of the extended community that I've gotten a chance to know, like Imam Shuaib, Imam Victor, all of those out here in the audience that I might not call you by name, but you have had a huge impact on me as an individual. Now, I work with SFOP as an organizer, but coming into this community, I understand that organizing is not a new thing to the Muslim community. The Muslim community has been organizing since the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, took
the charge of really, as Bishop King said, lifting the darkness off of our eyes as Black people in this country. And so I've come to learn the richness of that history. And so I had to come in with a bit of humility and humbleness, because this is something that you all know well. It's in your roots. And so I can only learn from that which has come before me. And so that's something that I think that Imam Al-Amin has continued to carry on as a tradition within his own community, is continuing to advocate for our continued work in community, specifically around ending mass incarceration, around social and economic justice. And so I would love to honor him tonight for that. I've had a chance to be a part of Friday services, and every khutbah has some type of message that makes us look at the human condition, right? That he makes sure that we are examining the human condition, and is always able to help us see our shared pain. So I can say that within our organization, across our organization, we've seen Imam Al-Amin come and speak and be a voice when it comes down to mass incarceration, but when it comes down to addressing unjust immigration laws, when it comes down to addressing housing, when it comes down to addressing all of these things that are at the core of a human condition. And so I would like to say thank you, Imam Al-Amin, for your leadership, and for your wisdom, and for being, like another father, and for all of you in this community who have welcomed me into this community. I also wanted to present a certificate of appreciation, if you don't mind coming up, Imam Al-Amin, for your work, your wisdom, and your prophetic leadership within our community. My director was here earlier, but she had to leave, so she had a chance to speak to some of you. But she is really, really thankful for the work and what Imam Al-Amin brings to our organization. So thank you. He just threatened me. He tried to say that he's trying to whoop me in pool again. He ain't that good at pool playing. He's a great man. He ain't that good. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Have a great night.
Give it up one more time for Sister Riley. We have one more musical performance. We're going to have Brother Amir come up and perform one song. Brother Amir started a group called Medina. He's produced many albums. He's a successful, established musician. So we're blessed to have him here as well. Please give it up for Brother Amir.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's try that one more time. Assalamu alaikum. So before, I really appreciate the generous introduction. Before anything, I want to say thank you to the Imam for allowing me to come here and share this one piece with all of you. And if you don't hear anything else that I say tonight, just know that I love you. So regardless of what you hear tonight, just know that Brother Amir says, I love you. And I think as a young black male, we are in public enemy number one. And so as I was composing some songs, I wanted to address some of the issues that I felt was going on in the black community. And I think that a lot of it kind of stems back to the lack of love. And so this next song that I'm going to do a cappella is called I Love You. I brought my little son up here. He wanted to come with daddy, so I said, all right, you can come up here. And my wife of 11 years is sitting here, giving us love. And so it goes a little like this. Bismillah. You're so beautiful, I never do you wrong. You're a queen, African beauty. I put you in my song, yo. It's been a while when I know we haven't spoke, but I ain't been the same since we was on the boat. I ain't been the same since, couldn't really make sense. How you go from a queen to a whore in a bed? We put you in the songs because we never show you love. And all we try to do is disrespect you in the clubs. Our industries got you raising our seeds. Then we call you a trick, but we the ones that leave. And yet, leave you all alone in this white man's world and got the nerve to be mad when you're a white man's girl. So I apologize, please look in my eye. Without your love and affection, we destined to die. Without you, it's similar to death in the sky. So it's time to build the family ties. And so I try, cause even though you lost your way and got your body on display, I'ma love you through the pain, cause baby girl, it's gonna be okay. Cause I love you, L to O to V to the E. Without your love, there is no me. L to O to V to the E. Without your love, we can't get free. And this is to the brothers. Hey, yo, it's all love. I ain't no threat to you. The guys beefing like Keith, but I ain't sweating you. And yeah, they set us up so we won't be cool. Guys killing one another for that red and blue. Hey, yo, the trap house, yeah, it's really good trap, ain't nothing changed. Ever wonder why the prison is black? Yo, I know you flipping because the living is whack, but genocide on the black is the mission of crack. And yo, same brother, same color, same skin, same race, same face, but they won't let us be men. They want us all gone with no family tree. They kept us out of school, so we settled for the D. Hey yo, we used to be kings, we used to be strong, we used to be men, cause we used to get along. Can never say that they're keeping us back and spread love, cause we under attack, so holla back, black love. I know the world has pushed you around and and built the traps to keep us down. But you a king, so stand up proud to be the father that we need right now. Cause I love you, L, the O, the V to the E. Without your love, there is no me. L, the O, the V to the E. Spreading the love to end that beef. That's the song.
So next we're going to bring to the stage Imam Imam Suleiman is the current Imam of the Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam, and he's also the CEO of Hajj Pros. I forgot to mention that he's originally from the Bay Area as well, and he is happy to be home.
And I brought some notes because I don't want Brother Stephen to use his cue card on me. That's all right, right? How is everyone? Wonderful. I do want to say it is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you all this evening. Honor because I'm with some of my teachers. I look out in the crowd and I see Imam Fahim Shuaib, I see Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin, Imam Enrique Rashid, I saw Yusuf here, his father, Sheikh Abdul Rauf, and others who have assisted me who I am. So it's an honor, it's a pleasure because it's 30 degrees in Atlanta. And I got to go back to that tonight, so I'm trying to enjoy all of this weather while I can. But I was looking at the theme for tonight, and I wanted to say that whoever came up with the theme for this program was really on point, or in tune with what's happening. The theme says sincerity, service, sacrifice, and success. Right? Did everyone see that? But it's written sincerity dash service dash sacrifice dash success. I'm going to ask if I can take the liberty to adjust it just a little bit. Is that all right? And you'll see why. I think that it should read sincerity plus service plus sacrifice equals success. Do you agree? And that's what we see in Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin. Yes. Do you agree? Yes. We are here celebrating 33 plus years of his leadership, work, efforts, and that's longer really than I've been alive. I'm 34. So he's been working my whole life. Yeah. That's right. And a person like me says thank you. In my position, what the assistance that has been done for me, but I just want to say a little bit about this theme. Is that all right? Yes, sir. All right. In the way that we roll. Because success is the end of the thing. I don't want to keep talking. I see him getting a little fidgety over here. But in order for us to be successful, we have to start with sincerity. We have to be sincere. If we want our centers to be successful, we want our lives to be successful, we have to be sincere, mukhlis, sincerely working for the pleasure of Allah. There's a funny story about a young man, young brother, who wasn't sincere in what he was doing. And the story says the young brother was in the masjid, and it was two older brothers. Do y'all know this story? And the young brother was making prayer, and he was praying out loud. little story. And so he's praying out loud, and the two older brothers start admiring his recitation. And they say, that brother has a beautiful recitation. And he heard it. He's praying now. And he continues to pray a little more, and they give him a compliment on his form. They say, excellent form. He's praying beautifully, and he heard it. And they were about to give him another compliment, and in the middle of his prayer, he turned around and said, oh yeah, I'm fasting too. That's not sincerity. Right? And if we're working like that, we're going to fail. But we should be working only for the pleasure of Allah. Not for my name to be on the flyer, not for me to be the headliner. And if we do that, we'll have success. Do you agree? Yes. There's another one. The second thing says, what is the second thing? Service. Right? Is that what it says? Yes. Service. In order for us to be successful, we have to be servants. We got to work. That's what we see Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin. Servants in Islam is called khidmah. I got to be willing to serve you before I get my plate, if we want to be successful. I have to be willing to give of myself in order for me to receive the blessing. And if we're not willing to serve like this, forget about it. If I'm not really willing to serve with all that should be given, we won't be successful. But we see that in our Imam, and that is part of why he has been successful. I think so. And lastly, come it up, please. Round of applause. He told me I had 30 minutes. And I didn't. It's been reduced? Okay, good. Great. I didn't plan on taking 30 minutes. But lastly, sacrifice. We have to be willing to give up ourselves. That's right. The minister mentioned Savior's Day. You know, it's Savior's Day weekend, right? And it makes me think of our leader, Imam Muhammad and the sacrifice. Our prophet, peace be upon him, teaches us that your faith is incomplete if you're not willing to sacrifice that which you love. Is that right? And so if we look at our leader, look at our teacher, Imam Muhammad, and all of the sacrifices that he made for us, the grandiose authority that he inherited, right? The power that he inherited, the wealth that he inherited, but that was not his aim. And he sacrificed those things, and was he not successful? This is proof that he was successful. We have to be willing to sacrifice, dear Muslims, dear Christians, dear Jews, dear humans, in order for us to get what it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises us. He tells us you're already successful, right? The believers will be successful, will win through. So I want to just encourage us, look at that as a formula. Let us serve, let us be sincere, and let us sacrifice and work to continue to build for another 33 years, inshallah. I want to just thank you all, my family. My father is here. Imam Abdul Hamid, you all know my father. The rest of the teachers and the workers who assisted me be where we are. We love you. Like my brother Amir, we love you too. And we pray that Allah continues to bless the Bay Area, the community, and all of us. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Reason, something in my heart was telling me I need to be there, and I flew and I met him. And alhamdulillah, I was able to be a part of that moment and that time when I saw so many people from the community come together. And I also was able to witness Minister Farrakhan in attendance with his family. And it was just a beautiful moment of understanding the importance of community, and the importance of love, and the importance of sacrifice. And as Imam Suleiman was talking, I was thinking of that moment. And I'm grateful and I'm very appreciative to be a part of this community. And I want to thank my father and my mother for raising me and to be the woman that I am today. So thank you. Next, we're going to bring up Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin. Imam Al-Amin remembers when I got my driver's license, and he always reminds me of that. He's known me my whole life, and I'm grateful, and it's an honor and a privilege to serve and work with him. So please welcome Imam Al-Amin.
You understand and appreciate, we say man plans and Allah plans, and he's the best of planners. So y'all know I'm not going to talk tonight. But I would like to ask all the imams to come up here on the stage right now and help me raise this money. All of you. Come on. Come on, Minister Christopher, Archbishop. Nassim, come on, Nassim. Imam Wali, Imam Rasul. Rasul brought the money from Miami. The rest of y'all can sit down. As you know, I'm going to wait until everybody gets here. We need to give respect to our convener, Imam Wali Fardan. Imam Wali Fardan is the sectional representative for the imams associated with Imam Nabi Muhammad. And we want all of you to know this is a united body. We love each other. We work together, we cooperate with one another, we try not to infringe on each other to where we create tension. We want to continue to create harmony, love, and a productive future. So we're very happy they're here. Imam Asmar, come on, man, you hiding on us? You know what I don't see? I don't see enough young imams. So I'm going to do something that might make somebody uncomfortable. Kadir, you still in the room? Come on. Bilal, you still in the room? Come on. I raised these young men to lead the house when I wasn't there. And they did, and they still do. All right, I'm going to be real quick, because we want to hear from Imam Qasim Ahmed. The San Francisco Muslim Community Center, we have a wonderful opportunity to purchase a facility that's located at 4760 Mission Street. We want to buy that property. We want to own that property. We want to restore that property and turn it into a jewel. But, you know, when you're going after something of wealth, you know, you don't go after wealth looking for what somebody else already did that's finished and that's perfect. You know, there's a story I want to talk about, and then I'm going to be quiet and ask other imams to help raise this money. There was an individual by the name of Ali Hafid. He was met by a gentleman named Russell Cronwell. Russell Cronwell met Ali Hafid when he was traveling near Syria. And this individual, Ali Hafid, he was a man that heard about diamonds, and he became fascinated with diamonds. He wanted to have diamonds because he was told that was the most precious thing on earth. While he was looking for diamonds, he had a farm. His farm couldn't grow corn, couldn't grow wheat, couldn't grow anything. Couldn't raise cattle on it, couldn't raise sheep. And he had a huge farm. even had water on the farm, but it was too rocky to be productive. So he sold his farm and went out in search of diamonds. And then the person who bought his farm from him later discovered diamonds on the same land that he used to own. And that's the African American situation. We think everybody else's situation is better than our own situation. And what we need to do is dig in the soil in our own neighborhoods. And there's great wealth in our own neighborhoods. If we'll do like the Chinese and open restaurants and all of this stuff in there comes from other Chinese. When you go down to Chinatown, they ain't got no Western oil in there. They got Chinese oil. That's what they do. They buy from each other. They support each other. We need to do the same thing to cultivate wealth in our community. Now, I mentioned Russell Bromwell in the story about acres of diamonds because he gave that lecture 6,132 times or something like that. Might be a greater number than that. And he went around the world telling people charge of the responsibility that exists right in your own neighborhood, right in your own backyard, and enrich yourself. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And as a result of that, he established Temple University. And you know, we established some temples doing that too, didn't we? We established some University of Islam doing that too, didn't we? Right? We opened up some restaurants, newspaper plant, and we have now some stuff up here. This man used to work at the Muhammad Speech newspaper plant, and it got up to over 1 million copies a week. You know how much money that brought into the community? We need to go back in our history and get that drive, get that work ethic, and let's bring it back. And let's create wealth for ourselves. It's enough of us up here. We should be able to raise that 1,500,000 with just the imams that's on the stage. Somebody count them and tell me how many up here, and then we're going to do the math and see how much each one have to contribute. Y'all up for it? Don't be scared. We can do it. It's 22 of us. So somebody do the math. 22 in 1,000,005 is what? Sister Aida, help us out. How much? How much?
About 45,500.
45,500. Okay, 50,000 each. So I got my 50,000. You know, I'm a reformed follower of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he said he would get it out of his brother's vest pocket. JC, 68,000. You got your vest on? Very serious though. We need to raise this money. Our goal this evening is to raise minimally $150,000 because we want to continue our work. We don't want to lose the opportunity that we have. The San Francisco Muslim Community Center has a house on the market right now that we're trying to sell for $950,000. So anyone who's interested in a nice home in a nice neighborhood in San Francisco, please contact us. We have a 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a attached garage and a nice backyard. It's on the market. You can purchase it and keep that money in the community, and it'll help us with our project. So we'll ask each of the imams to say something and try to get people to pledge a certain amount of money. And me, I'm going to start off the pledges with $1,000. I'll pledge $1,000.
Do something tonight with this fundraiser. And I'd like everybody, those who are behind me and those who are in front of me, take out a dollar bill. Just take out a dollar bill. When everybody take out a dollar, I know you got a dollar. why I did that? Because it's hard tearing money up. It's very hard tearing money up. If it was $100 bill, it would be even harder. If it was $1,000 bill, it would be harder. But let me tell you something. The money is just a means to get something. When you think about the things that you have bought and not used, the coats that you have bought, the shoes that you have bought, you see, the VCRs, the radios, the TVs, the things that you have bought. How many of you would go home and bust up that flat screen TV? You wouldn't do that. What I'm trying to show you is that we have wasted more money just on nothing. We'll go and spend $5 on a, what's that coffee place? Starbucks. Buy $5 coffee that used to cost 10 cents a cup. When I'm saying now, don't worry about the dollar you took. You can take me back. I'm just making a point. We have devalued money because we spend it on things and don't even use it. People got clothes in their closet they ain't even worn. You see, that could have went to it, you know. And you got things that you spend on our children. They buy all these games. Some of these games are $35 and $40. They just play it all night long and can't do homework. I've seen it. It's waste. Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin said, if you want to see waste and poverty, just go to the African American neighborhood on garbage day. That's right. That's right. And then go drive in a white neighborhood. You see, or some other rich neighborhood, you see a little small bag out there. You got 4 or 5 cans out there. Just a waste. I'm trying to make a point here. We poor because we want to be poor. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and God's peace and blessing be upon him, he told us this. He said, heaven is under your feet, dig it out. Heaven is under your feet, dig it out. And I'm saying this because the thing that Imam Abu Qadir said earlier about diamonds, the acres of diamonds. You never read that book. But there's another story I heard from a Christian preacher in Kentucky one time, and he talked about the African. He said 2 African little boys were playing marbles. They were shooting marbles. And 2 businessmen who were walking around in Africa, in South Africa, you know, they saw them. They said, wow, they're using marbles, diamonds for marbles. They were shooting for them. So what they said was that, hey, you guys over there, they took out some glasses, a pair of glasses, and a few other things, gave them a lot of trinkets, and we'll give you all those things for those marbles you got. They looked at this and they said, these dudes is crazy. Yeah. So they got all the marbles in them in one little bag. And he gave them the sunglasses and other little trinkets and walked off with them. He left them with the trinkets and took the diamonds. The preacher was saying, he said, this is what we do with our youth. He said, our youth are full of talents, but we turn them over to other people to make money on it. You see? And right now, we got all these brothers up here. Look at that person, they're handsome with these great leaders. You know, I am too. You know, what are we producing? When he man down, he said, where's the young imams at? Where are they? Where are youth at? Where is their talents going? They go to school to get a good job. But for who? We don't have no factories going on. I tell my good friend, Imam Rasul right here, this man owns one of the biggest clothing stores in Miami. You go in his store, clothes to the top, it'll fill his room up. I said, why don't you put Rasuls all over this country? They got Walmart. Yeah, I love to see buy Rasuls. We have to reproduce. We learn from the harm of the don't think that Allah has not blessed us with wealth. You know that you have wealth with you. We just have to make the sacrifice, as we said in one of the statements here, service and sacrifice. Are we willing to make a sacrifice? Not just $1,000, $10,000 on a payment plan. You got payment plans anyway. You got house notes. I know these houses out here cost more, I tell you. That's why I haven't moved out here yet. I'm gonna get me a tent. Brothers and sisters, let us look at bringing out what we know that we have. Just like we wasted, tore this dollar in half, we're already tearing money up. It's all in the house. Think about that. Let us take those monies and bring them, and let us build something that will last. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. There are envelopes on your table. We ask that you would put your contributions in the envelope. The treasurer, Brother Barrow, is getting ready to come around and collect the envelopes. Others will be helping him, so please fill your envelopes up. And then we've been told by the owners of this establishment, we appreciate Reverend Emmett for allowing us to use the facility at very short notice. We had double booked the other facility. We couldn't use that facility. And I believe it's some value in us having this fundraiser in the church. And the church is named Macedonia. Macedonia means long suffering. You know, what the worship lasted 44 years. And leadership works for the generation coming after that generation. And the reason I wanted to bring attention to the 33 years of my leadership is because the 33 represents a completion of a cycle, spiritually. The Ramadan, when we started in 1975, fasting the month of Ramadan, it went through a full cycle, all around the seasons, and it takes 33 years for that to happen. Imam W.D. Muhammad's leadership lasted 33 years. Jesus Christ's leadership lasted 33 years. 33 is a significant number. You have 33 vertebrae in your spine. And when we line our intelligence up to where our body is receiving messages, as the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad said, we're like one body. That if one part is sick, the rest of the body feels it. So we need to recognize that we're one body. And we need a break. Y'all know what a break is? Sometimes you just need an opportunity that will open up other opportunities for you. So we need a break. You know, women, when they carry that baby for 9 months, they get a break. The water break. And then they have to start the labor to get that baby out. And once that baby comes out, it's not over. When the baby comes out, the whole family have to work to provide for that baby, to provide food, to provide clothes. So this is where we are today. We're trying to raise money so we can continue our work. It's really not about me, it's about our community. Continuing to work, continuing to try to be of service. Imam Qasim, because we don't have much time, we're going to bring you back up here. Because you're the main speaker. They've given us the 9 o'clock to get out of here. And then they asked the men to help take the tables back upstairs. So, you know, it's more than just a celebration. We got to continue to do some work. So can I see the hands of those volunteers that's going to help take the tables upstairs? Men, I need to see all the hands. If you're able-bodied, we need some help. I'm going to call people's names. Y'all know how to do it. J.C. Loon, raise your hand. That's my business partner. I know I can call him out. He calls me out all the time. All right. So, Imam Qasim, please come with your remarks, and please forgive us for the informality of this program. Understand our intention was to bring benefit to the community. Thank you. I give to you Imam Ahmed from the Islamic Institute of Quranic Learning.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulil Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Dear beloved believers, brothers and sisters, we greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Again, I'm very, very grateful to Allah the Almighty that we are able to attend this function of showing appreciation and gratitude for the work of our Imam Abu Qadir Al-Amin. But I want to tell you, and I want to begin by a statement that Imam Abu Qadir Muhammad said once. He said, life is best established and protected when life lives with life in a context with other members of that life. This statement that he made years ago always stuck with me. Why? Because he said also that life is in definition, and in definition there is direction. I want to begin with those two concepts. Life is best established and protected when life lives with life in a context with other members of that life, and life is in definition, and in definition there is direction. He said that in the nature of human life, the direction for it is already there. The people who study the heart, the people who study the brain, and have these brain institutes and heart institutes and etc., they study what Allah created. But life cannot be established unless you have understanding. Life cannot be established unless you have understanding. In biblical language it says, get knowledge, get wisdom, but above all, get what? An understanding. Imam Muhammad, he pointed out, he said that the word understanding is not one word, it's two. Under and standing. He said that when you take a seed, a grass seed, any seed, you throw it on the ground. If that seed lands like this on the ground, when it goes in the ground, guess how it stands up? Just like that. The seed stands up straight. Why it has to stand up straight? Because in order for that seed to grow, it has to push down and root itself. Put down a taproot and establish itself. And it stays under the ground in the dark. Without no lights or nothing, but it's in the dark, under the ground. And while it's under the ground, it's pulling from the nutrients that have already been put in the ground to assist it in its growth in the dark. Same thing with the seed that goes into the womb of a woman. When that seed is put in there, it's in the dark. Ain't no flashlight going in there with that seed. Millions of them are released at one time. And the body releases a chemical or chemistry that fights that seed. It fights, the body fights that seed. The reason why it fights that seed is because it's foreign. You know? And sometimes while the seed is traveling, the other seeds in that movement assist it. Cousin Ahmed was a seed, me. But I had assistance from all the other brothers. You know, I was swimming, and the womb was, and they said, let's help him, surround him. And they were dying off so that I can get to the mark. And I rooted myself in that womb and stuck out 3 prongs into the side of the uterine wall and began to draw life. What am I saying is, sometimes you don't think that you're qualified. You don't think that you have the tenacity and the strength. But don't you know when that seed grows in the ground, it grows because of faith. It's in the dark. You can't see, you don't see nothing. It's invisible. It's in the dark. I like how Imam Muhammad, he said once, he said, you look at the grass seed sometime, it's under the ground, and they put concrete over the top of the ground. He said, but you come back later on, you see that grass seed don't find a way up through some part of the concrete, and you see grass growing around the concrete. Sometimes you see it growing out of the side of a brick or a wall. He said, what gives that seed the determination to grow when concrete is over? He said that seed has in it the faith that Allah put in it to grow up. So, here we are. And if I went through our history, you would automatically know that you are a people who have great strength because you've been put under a lot of concrete. When I say concrete here, I mean oppression. Oppression on top of oppression. You weren't even designed to be human anymore. Huh. There's I can't think of the guy named now, he said, in the State House of Virginia back in the 1800s, he said, as long as we can keep the light of Islam out of the mind of the slave, we will forever keep him on the level of the beast of the field. What's his name? Henry Barrett. One of them. His name ain't important. He ain't the only one that said it, but many of them. My point is this. They never intended for us to be human. Chattel slavery, they never intended for it. But look now. Right now, you standing up saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Where did that come from? Because the same seed that they tried to bury, stomped into the ground. As Imam Muhammad said, they said, most people start off from a base of 0 and go up. He said, you started off from a base less than 0. That's cold. So I'm saying this to you because we are rooted deep. And if you will understand this, if you will understand this comment, I was sitting with Imam Muhammad once, he said, Qasim, he said, Allah has blessed us with the spirit to carry the Quran. He said, all we need is the technical understanding. That's it. And the technical understanding is not just learning Arabic. The Arabic didn't help the Arabs. It didn't. You read the history, they were in Jahil. It was called Jahili Arabia, right? They were running and doing rituals around the Kaaba, butt stark naked, burying baby girls alive, drinking wine, party popping, and rapping. It wasn't to the nature of a human being, called Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who resisted with great tenacity to keep his human form human. He remained a human being. It's called in Arabic Hanif, the Hanif nature. Hanif means the urge to be upright. The urge. And he remained with that urge. And it burdened him so much to see that corrupt society, he had to go up in the mountains just to get away from it and contemplate on the nature of the Lord in him and say, what can be done? And Allah revealed to him a message called Quran to that nature. And I have to say this again. Imam Muhammad said, he said, I would not be who I am if it was not for the Quran. Because he grew up in an environment that was adverse to that nature. And he disagreed with that environment. And he had a discussion with his mother when he was leaving his father. Okay, son, if you can't go along with the program here, you got to get up out of here. And his mother walked to, mothers always love their children, no matter how bad the boy might be or good they be. If they disagree with the father, mama's always trying to say, son, his mother came and son, why don't you just go ahead and say it and do what your father said? Stay in the house. He said, Mama, did Muhammad ever tell you he was God? She said, no, son. He said not to even call him a prophet. He was a servant. And he said, my mother wasn't alive. He said, so how can I say it? So he walked up to them. And some of you don't know, but he went through a lot of pressure because he disagreed. But that faith and determination, when God turned you on to faith, ain't nobody can do nothing about it. Nobody. Just like the seed in the ground is buried underneath, it's going to come up. Why? Because it rooted itself. It went down under and stood up. Understanding. Get knowledge, get wisdom, but above all, get an understanding. Stop being robbed by accepting foreign ideals about what Islam is, and trust that Allah has the ability to reach into your own soul and turn on the light. Allah says in the Quran, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيَعْلَمُوا اللَّهَ وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. Have taqwa of God. Listen to this. Taqwa is God consciousness. Have taqwa of God. Because وَيَعْلَمُوا اللَّهُ, He is teaching you now. Not that He taught a long time ago. Wa'ya'lamullah is in Arabic, mudara means the present tense verb, meaning the act is going on now, and it continues. He don't stop. He's not a retired teacher. When you came out of the room, you graduated with 5 universities, called 5 senses. What is that, brother? They told me I had to be out in 2 seconds. Can you say? In-flight adjustment, bro. After the in-flight adjustment. I want to say this to you. The point that I want to make to all of you, to understand, we have been rooted. We have been rooted by God. And you have been given an understanding that you have yet to know until you allow the light of revelation to rain upon you so the seed can bust through and come up from under the ground. Yes, there's a word in Arabic that deals with, I can't go into the psychoanalysis, and I'll talk to you about it tomorrow, inshallah. But the point that I want to make to you is that your soul has already been prepared. By who? The one who created you. Ain't nobody made their own soul. I'm going to tell you. You didn't buy that soul from the supermarket. That soul was given to you by God. And And there's a purpose for slavery, there's a purpose for this oppression and etc. because you have been prepared to lead the world. If you want it, it's available for you. Come to the Quran. Come to understanding the Quran. Don't be a parrot of the Quran. Learn to think with the Quran. Turn on, I have a thing called the ignition of cognition, igniting the cognitive process in your brain. You have more power in your brain than you ever dreamed of. You're not just black, you are human. And Allah has prepared your humanity. And this is why Imam Al-Amin has been such a prolific leader. This is why Imam Shuaib has been such an excellent leader. And a lot of these Imams, I'm not slighting anyone, but we could be wine heads and reefer sellers. Imam Ali, when them, I told him, I said, why is he allowing them to set up all of the reefer sellers? But we're not. And that's why I love the Imams. We could be Bloods and Crips and other things. But I'm an Imam, a leader, not a prayer leader. And Brother Christopher, if you call Robert Muhammad in Houston, ask him who I am. We have a good working relationship. You want to know why? Because I saw them as my brothers, and he see me as my brother, his brother, and we work together. You see, all of us want to take this thing over in time. You know, remake the world. I saw that.
For Elijah and Waratudin, they make up the mighty few. A new perspective on the unseen, changing our whole point of view. We are descendants of great kings and queens. We know now what we have to do. Authenticated and fully people were made all brand new. Destiny came in 3 stages. History made in 3 phases. A lesson was learned from 3 sages of blue.